You know that feeling, right? Staring at a mountain of work, just completely overwhelmed with absolutely no idea where to even start. That feeling of being totally swamped is universal. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be your normal. Today, we're going to break down why we get so overwhelmed and look at some really powerful ways to get back in control and actually feel good about our productivity.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Does your to-do list feel less like a helpful guide and more like some kind of infinite soul-crushing scroll of things you have to do? If you're nodding along right now, you are in exactly the right place, because this isn't just about managing your calendar, it's about managing your mind.
Okay, let's start with a really core idea from a guy who basically wrote the book on this stuff, David Allen. He talks about all those unfinished tasks, little worries, and random ideas bouncing around in your head. He calls them open loops. Just think of them as browser tabs open in your brain. Each one is using up a little bit of your mental RAM, and the more tabs you have open, the slower and more cluttered everything gets, making it almost impossible to focus. The solution isn't to work harder, it's to get all that stuff out of your head and into a system you can actually trust.
Now, all that mental clutter, it leads to one very familiar, very human behavior: procrastination. But hold on, before you start beating yourself up for being lazy, let's look at this a different way. Procrastination is so much more than just putting things off. It's actually a pretty complex response to feeling completely overloaded.
So, what are we really talking about here? Well, procrastination isn't when you accidentally forget to do something. Nope. It's an active, conscious choice to put a task on the back burner, even when you know, deep down, it's probably going to bite you later. It's all about choosing that sweet, short-term relief over making long-term progress.
And this right here is the absolute key. We tend to think procrastination is a problem with our calendar or our to-do list app, but it's not. It's actually a problem with managing our emotions. We put tasks off because they make us feel bad in some way. Maybe they're boring or they make us feel anxious or insecure. Our brain is just trying to dodge that negative feeling. It's a psychological thing, not just a scheduling problem.
So if the problem is internal, well, the solution has to start there too. Before we even touch any apps or fancy techniques, we've got to win the inner game. And that means really understanding the psychological drivers behind your own unique brand of procrastination. Take a look at these usual suspects. Be honest with yourself. Which one of these is just jumping off the screen at you? Is it perfectionism? That feeling that if you can't do it perfectly, you might as well not even start? Or maybe it's just plain old task aversion. You know, the job is so boring or unpleasant that you'd literally rather go organize your spice rack. Figuring out your personal trigger is the first, most important step to disarming it.
And get this, it's also super helpful to know what kind of procrastinator you are. You've got your passive procrastinators who just feel paralyzed. They get stuck, they can't make a decision, and so they just don't act. Then you have active procrastinators. These folks make a conscious choice to delay, telling themselves they actually work better under pressure. The result might look the same, a crazy last-minute rush, but what's going on inside their head is totally different. Okay, so once you've done some of that internal work, it's time to build your external system. Let's open up the tactical toolkit and look at 3 really powerful frameworks that can help you process, prioritize, and actually get your tasks done with way more clarity. First up is David Allen's method, Getting Things Done, or GTD for short. The whole goal here is to achieve what he calls a mind like water. You know, that feeling of being calm and ready for anything. You get there by following these 5 steps. First, you capture everything that has your attention. Then you clarify what each thing is, organize it, reflect on your system every week, and then, and this is the magic part, with a clear head, you can just do the work. Next up, we have the Eisenhower Matrix. This thing is a brilliantly simple tool for prioritizing. It forces you to ask 2 questions. Is this urgent? And is this important? If it's both, do it now. If it's important but not urgent, schedule it. This is where the real meaningful work happens. If it's urgent but not important, delegate it if you can. And if it's neither, just get rid of it. This simple little box can bring so much clarity to your chaos. Finally, let's talk about how you actually structure your time. On one hand, you have time blocking. That's where you give every minute of your day a job, creating a clear plan of attack. On the other hand, you have task batching. That's all about grouping similar tasks together, like answering all your emails in one go. The goal there is to stop wasting mental energy by constantly switching gears. Honestly, the real secret sauce is finding a mix of both that works for you. But here's the thing. You can have the best system in the world, but it can still fall apart if your environment is working against you. Taming your to-do list also means you have to tame the physical space. and even the organizational culture around you. An uncomfortable, distracting, or stressful space just drains the exact mental energy you need to fight off procrastination. And wow, this image just says it all, doesn't it? Look at the factors on the left, things like high job demands or not having clear goals. Those create the stress responses you see in the middle, like muscle tension. And that tension isn't just some vague feeling. It can literally physically increase your risk for the kinds of injuries you see on the right. A stressful environment literally hurts your body.
All right, let's do a quick check-in. Right now, wherever you are, how are you sitting? Are your feet flat on the floor? Are your elbows bent at about a 90-degree angle? Is your screen at eye level? These little ergonomic adjustments aren't just about being comfortable. They're about preventing the physical strain that sucks away your energy and your focus, making it that much harder to get anything done.
And we have to zoom out from just your desk because the wider company culture plays a massive role. If goals are always fuzzy, if your boss micromanages everything, or if deadlines are treated like gentle suggestions, well, you're creating a perfect breeding ground for procrastination. A truly productive culture starts with clarity, trust, and accountability, right from the very top. So as we start to bring this all together, there's one last really important idea to remember. Getting control of your work isn't something you just achieve and then you're done. It's not a destination you arrive at. It's an ongoing practice.
Your systems have to change as your work changes, as your life changes. The killer system you set up last quarter might not work for you today. The real key is building a habit of checking in with yourself. Regularly revisit your methods, see what's working, and be totally willing to tweak or even ditch what isn't. It's a continuous cycle of improvement.
Because at the end of the day, all of this, it serves a much bigger purpose. The goal is not to become a machine that just crams more and more tasks into a day. No way. The goal is to create the mental space and the clarity to focus on the work that actually truly matters. So as you go forward, maybe the most important question to ask isn't what's next on my list, but what really matters? And what will you decide matters tomorrow?